Hello, I'm Alec Kerr, the entertainment critic for the Conway Daily Sun, and I'm joined with the cast, which is just one man, and the director of
Which is two people, actually, in our show.
There are more directors than actors for this show.
So for the Barnstormers, fully committed. So introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Doug Shapiro. This is my 23rd season with the Barnstormers, and just excited to work on this, be a service.
And I'm Jordan Ahnquist. This is my 10th or 11th year with the Barnstormers, and I am director along with Dory Robinson, who is also a director but is working down in Boston right now, so
Okay.
she can't be here with us today.
So I've read the plot synopsis, but why don't you give the elevator pitch for this?
Do you want to, or shall I?
I think you should do it, Doug.
Oh, good. More lines. So Sam is an actor who is between jobs at the moment, and he is working on the reservations line in a really hoity-toity, hot gastronomic, New York City restaurant, working the phone lines. I play Sam. I play everyone who calls in for a reservation. I play everyone who calls down of the staff, the chef and the hostess and everyone who calls me on my cell phone.
Okay.
While going through things such as, my dad really wants me to come home for Christmas. I've just gone through a breakup. There's a part that I'm really hoping to get, and I'm waiting on that, and how that all comes to fruition.
So it's 40 characters?
I count 32 in the script, but there are a few more, so I guess around 35, but 40 sounds way more dramatic.
let's say
Yeah.
40.
I think it's 55 characters.
55?
Yeah.
10 million characters.
Yeah.
So you've done a two-person show.
Yes.
How much?
I didn't realize there was a progression.
How
That they were getting steadily less.
Is it? I thought, is the next one just a no-person show?
It's a no-person show.
It's just a tape recorder of you on a stool.
Yeah,
A
big
headshot.
concept. Big concept piece.
Like, you get to create whatever show you want, audience,
Yeah.
whatever it is you need,
Yeah.
and just let that headshot fulfill it.
Yeah.
That's conceptual.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I also thought you could just have a series of mannequins on stage with your voice just recorded, doing all the parts, and then it's just purely a sound engineer show.
But now when I'm with you, I'm thinking of movies, and now I'm just, we can live the street forever. And so now my mind left there.
So how are you dealing with all these characters and all these lines and balancing it all?
Well, luckily, Jordan makes a very safe space. So there's he'll the one that will be reminding me to rest, stop, take a breath. But also, like, I learned as I got older, despite the fact that I've shaven and my hair has been dyed. So now, of course, I'm in my 20s, right? That lines don't, I can't like smell the script and then walk on stage. So I started memorizing in February.
Okay.
And I've got study sheets where I've got like the initial letter of every word and all the punctuation and capitalization that I can practice with as a midway. I've got flashcards where it's, like, all right, what's next? And then that, yes. So when I got to rehearsal, I was able to account for the whole, God, I don't my lines, I don't mind blocking, and I'm so stressed. And I feel that happened this time. I came in, we were able to block, and we were able to play even at this early stage.
One thing that was great, because everyone at the Barnstormers knows that Doug prepares
Yeah.
really well, and that made it, all that work that Doug did made it so easy to play and to try different characters and to try different voices. And I found myself, talking about notes that probably shouldn't be given until like, the third week of rehearsal
Yeah.
at the end of day one. But Doug was so prepared, we could play at that level. And
Do you know what it's like to be the only actor to get all of the notes in a note session? It's like, I'm the worst. It's terrible.
But yeah, he's handling it really well.
Well, are there any characters that are a little bit more of a drama queen than the others?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is that everybody calling into a hot reservations line, they all have their own bit of drama to sound really important to try and like get around the line and everything. Yeah. So everyone does have their drama, but they have different tactics to go about it.
Okay.
There's one who we really needed to work with who was sounding a little bit like the other, and that's a fun challenge about this. Like, they're both defined, but they're a little bit too much alike. One of them is going to have to shift. Because imagine with me, everyone sounds like New York Jewish. But, so there was one that we suddenly had to change her up a bit, change her coast of where she's from, and give her a lot more Botox. And I think we made it work.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So are you doing lots of different accents? Is there a Southern accent? Like
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yep. There's Southern. There's Midwestern. Hopefully all accurate. But so
British.
British. Yeah, a few kinds. And there's the fun thing about this is like we're having like casting sessions of like, all right, that character isn't working. What if it's this person? What if it's this person? So there are some people that I just kind of love and want to be on stage with me, and there are people that there are people with big issues in my life that somehow end up in your circle and you're solving their problems, and they've been cast in this show along with me. I guess sort of as a way to process them and love them a little more, and then just like some celebrities where like you have their characteristics, but you change their voice. Like one of the she's got very Jennifer Coolidge mannerisms, but not her voice.
That's fair.
And so like a little nip tuck, and it's kind of fun to discover them and learn about them and love all of them.
And one thing that's so special about this opportunity for Doug, I think, because I've known Doug's incredible ability to play characters like all over the place, and that's why he's perfect for this. That's why he's perfect for this show. But what's really exciting about this for me, and I think for the audience too, is that we get to see the central character that Doug plays, Sam, and we really get to see a genuine heart there in a simplicity that sometimes, because I think the Barnstormers takes advantage of your skill set to do all the wild stuff, we don't often get an opportunity to see you do the really, really intimate stuff. And it's really, Doug's doing such a beautiful work.
Thank you.
It's going to be fun for people to see that.
Were Jordan and Dory working together as the direction team, twice as many as actors in the cast, is the particular strengths that they bring. So Dory has kind of set it up, and she directed Silent Sky last year, which is my favorite show I've ever seen.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I wish more people had gotten out to see it.
Yeah,
I got to be in it.
And yeah, you're amazing in it. And what Dory was able to create with you and like the best actors at the Barnstormers doing the best work I've ever seen them do. It was delicious. So that sort of like emotionally safe space, environment, and that kind of love is her strength, combined with Jordan's sharp, amazing comedic timing. Because Jordan's been doing sheer madness in Boston and DC since Jesus was a baby. But what you were able to do, we have like this one bit where it was, wait, no, you stop, you step forward, then you pause, then you turn around, and like, yes, this is why you get Jordan Ahnquist on your team.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Dory and I work really well together because I think she brought this, especially the concept that we're using, that she really developed. I kind of came onto the project late because of her opportunity that came up for her, and so I think Doug and I were saying the other day, we kind of speak the same language as actors. We understand how to look at a script and to kind of carve it out and see what the play wants in terms of creating a moment, creating a laugh, and to get specific. Don't you think?
We've talked about the music of comedy.
Yeah, there you go.
And knowing when it's supposed to be, well, actually, no, if I take that much time to walk over there, it's supposed to be ba-dun-ta-dun, dun-ta-dun, in order to land in a certain way. But it's also a hindrance, as we've discovered. So like as we're going through, there's like one segment that we've been calling the opening number, where we're introducing a bunch of the characters that are calling in and had been on hold. And I'm hearing the music of da-da-da, 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 but it's a hindrance because I'm just trying to speed through it to get to the next musical cue. But Jordan has the outside eye and being able to say, yes, and it needs to breathe more. So we need to establish the characters, and it'll still have that. The music's just a little bit slower, but they need the story and they need to hear the names.
Right. So as an actor, as a director, how does that help a lot?
You tell me, Doug, but I think so. I think so, because I think I can, and I think most actors can do this. I don't mean to be saying like, oh, I can do this, but I think, but I think I know where I can see what Doug's doing, and I can see what an actor's doing, and know, okay, they're going to figure that out. They know what's going on, and this is they're part of their process. For instance, here at the Barnstormers, we often know that we need to come in knowing our lines as actors, which is great. You can be prepared. The drawback of that is that then you start to get ahead of yourself because you've been going like this on your script, so you know what's next. So then we have, you sometimes get into the rhythm of rattling off your lines and forgetting that, now I'm in the rehearsal space and I need to live in it and sit in it and wait for a response, if that makes any sense. So I can see a process and be like, okay, that's where he is in his process, and I know he's going to figure that out. I don't need to talk about it. Yeah. Even though sometimes I do talk a little too much.
But also Jordan viscerally gets it, because we've been working together since his first show when he was Huck in Big River. And we've done Lucky Stiff together and the producers together, and so he could tell by the arch of my eyebrow, it's like, Doug's just trying to get through it. Stop, breathe. And yesterday's run was just like, oh yeah, all right, shake it out, go back in.
Right. So you're both actors. I'm sure you've both struggled at some point and had to take some terrible job. So what was the worst job you've ever had as you've been a struggling actor? Just the job to kind of pay the bills.
I was telling Doug the other day, I have catered for some of the people he's taking reservations for in this play.
You know them viscerally.
Those have been rough, but I've been really grateful for all the opportunities. I'm trying to think of anything just awful. I mean, food service can be rough. I think we've all done that.
I was a little more of a Microsoft actor, like the temping in offices and things like that. Strangely enough, I always try and angle it so that it's an opportunity. And actually, all my jobs now are acting jobs. Please let that continue. But there's one place I was working at called Right Management, and it was when someone is let go from their job, they're sent to Right Management to develop all the skills to find their next job. So I was a temp, I was a receptionist, but whenever somebody would be like, I want to go into the arts, they'd send them to the temp to say, and I'd be like, oh, and I'd start working with them, and then I was like, I'd go around and take all the classes that are being offered there, and self-marketing, and how to use LinkedIn effectively, et cetera. And then that eventually parlayed into my becoming a career coach for actors, which now has parlayed into all the business role play work I do in the corporate world. So when I'm talking with other actors and they have this kind of job, it's always like, okay, picture your headshot. I want you to divide it into a grid, and I want you to give a monetary value to each space on the headshot. So that table that has taken an hour and is just drudgery, you've just paid for your ear. That kind of reframing.
Yeah, that's like a class that I just took, listening to you say that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I wish I knew that. I guess the most, it's not really exciting.
That's just a taste. If you want the rest, you have to pay.
Yeah, you have to pay for Doug, and I'll give you an hour. But I had just office work. It was like, here's a box of receipts, your payment receipts, invoice number, all that bull. And having to find which ones matches with what, and it was 8 hours a day in an office with no windows. That was probably the worst.
But you really felt like you were making the world a better place,
I did,
right?
I did, yeah.
You're living your Tikkun Olam, right?
And do you have any interactions with a surly, person that is like the characters in this show?
I am a very conflict-averse person.
I feel
this is all about conflict. And this is actually Sam's journey as well, of being able to, I'm sorry, let me please, and into gradually finding his own power and what he learns from each call in his journey towards the end of whatever he becomes. And so there is a lot of personal learning in this, and no matter what, no matter who you are in the audience, whatever it is you're going through, you're going to find it reflected because you've dealt with one of these people, or you've been one of these people, and you get to see the effect that it has on someone that's, on the other end of a line of a poor customer service individual that, I don't know that anyone goes into customer service saying, yes, this is what I've wanted to do. I am living my truth. I'm living my dream, helping people that are screaming at me 24/7.
And because of Doug's heart, he brings such a humanity to each of these characters. So even the ones that you might think of as like, oh, it's that lady that drives me nuts, or that guy who's such a jerk. The heart and the honesty that Doug brings to it, you still love you love every time the most obnoxious people show up, because because their soul is still coming through Doug, and it's like, oh, they're trying to. Everyone's trying their best.
It's the most important part of my job to do that for all these, and they can feel, the audience can feel however they need to about, oh, I've dealt with that person before, but I can't do that. I have to love all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Have you learned anything from this show?
Definitely.
What have you learned?
Definitely. I've learned that I've learned a ton of things. Some of them are very specific about working on a show like this, but I think I've learned how much I love working with actors and watching their process for myself. I've learned that, and to trust, to step back and let it go a little bit when I want to meddle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've learned the importance of a safe space in a room that Jordan's created, and Jake, Jake, who's on book, and Peggy Samuels, our stage manager. Just everyone's just like, you got it, we got it, we're stable, and like to bring that into, that can be brought into life. Also, what I get to work with in terms of, if I don't know my lines well enough and I start to like self-punish and go in there, to take a breath and choose curiosity about the process over the, I'm going to ruin everything, it's all on my shoulders. And
it's a pretty good lesson.
But I've known that coming into this, and that's why I mitigated by learning my lines so early. And I feel right now that is happening. This is the first time I've had a rehearsal process where I'm not, it's like, all right, that's not there yet, but that moment is fleshed out, and there are 5 times during rehearsal where I looked at a phone that was ringing. I'm like, don't got it. No idea who's on the phone right now.
Yeah.
And this design team, I think, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's another thing I've learned is for the next time I direct, to trust a nudge that tells you to kind of take a more dangerous leap, because I think most of the design and conceptual work happened before I came on board, and when I first came on, I was like, okay, I know I can do the working with the actor part. I don't, but in talking with them before we got into rehearsal, I was like, this is fun, and I think the audience will really enjoy, because this show's been done a lot. If they've seen it before, I think it heightens the theatricality of this play, which is already super theatrical when you got one character playing 40 people. But it's really given the design team is having so much fun coming up with the world that Doug gets to live in.
What's it like in production meetings for you?
It's amazing. It's great. Everyone's so supportive. It's wonderful. I don't know how to answer that, but it was, yeah. Everyone's got. What's really fun is to throw out an idea and hear people kind of jumping on top of ideas and making it something where, five heads are better than one in terms of what we come up with. And we're in a place, much like you described the room, where it's safe to do that, and where no one's ego gets in the way, and we're going with the best idea in the room, rather than, I think this is the way it should be done, so we're doing this, even though, because everyone has the space to allow creativity to come through.
Right.
It really feels like we're all on the same side.
Which is the way it should be.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
I did want to speak to, you were in Arsenic and Old Lace.
I was in Arsenic and Old Lace.
Which is a great show. And it's a great character, because that character goes so over the top. And how much fun was it basically playing like a cartoon character?
It was a blast, of course. And I've done, like Doug was saying, I've done Sheer Madness a lot, and that character that I play in that also has like a pretty high ceiling of where how he goes, how crazy he gets. And that's something that the director kept telling me, like, go big, keep going.
Yeah.
And if it gets too big, I'll pull you back. And that's kind of one of those things in Tamworth at the Barnstormers where you only have a week. So a director might go, take this nugget and run. and so that was where we that's where we went with it. And I mean, it was a blast, and I think it was I hope it worked, but if I was thinking from the outside, I think the kind of groundedness and of Jean Marr and Vanette's characters thinking this is perfectly normal what they're doing, played against balanced the ship, so it wasn't just like, who's this wacky guy so there was some truth, there was still truth hopefully in my experience of what was going on.
Right. Yeah. No. I think that's absolutely true, because they're being so calm, and then it's infuriating because it's like, why are you so calm? What are you? So you can see how somebody would be like pulling their hair out.
Yeah.
No, I love Arsenic and Old Lace, and I think it's just so funny that the story is that Cary Grant thinks that was his worst performance because he went so over the top.
Yeah.
And it's like, can't you see what you did was perfect?
I think that's what it's calling for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And fun in a fun thing, Doug played Mortimer
The last time we did it.
the last time they did it here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Another fun story about that, and this is like Barnstormers is everywhere.
Yeah.
I was doing a standardized patient gig, which is we role play with medical students, etc., so they can learn to do a physical exam or give a
Try to figure out what your disease is.
Sometimes it's very different from what you saw in Seinfeld. And
But same idea.
Right.
If you
So
need a point of reference.
point of reference, there it is, and not that. But I'm in the same room on the other side of the divider from another actor who's doing the same thing who I hadn't seen because I just walked in and put on the paper gown. And I'm in between students, I'm just chatting with the actor on the other side of the divider, and I'm like, oh, so what do you got coming up? Like, yeah, well, I've just been cast as Jonathan Brewster at the Barnstormers. And I'm like, I walk around in my paper gown, I'm like, what? In New York City. We had just, we met. And I'm like, I take a picture of Messiah. I'm like, hey, look who I'm with. And then I take a week later, I take a picture with his wife, who is also doing that, to send to him when he's at Barnstormers. We're everywhere.
That's funny. Now, I know it's hard to pick children, but if you had to pick a favorite Barnstormers show that you were in, what would it be?
That's hard.
Even top 3.
I'm a little too scared to say this one. We'll talk in 2 weeks. I think it's Drowsy Chaperone, because I had this moment with an audience member at one point where I'm sitting there and I'm just holding everything up and I'm like eating a Cliff Bar, and this one audience member said, "Is it good?" And I was able to stop and be like, "Try it." And I broke off a piece and handed it to him, and the guy got up out of the audience and took the Cliff Bar and ate it. And it was like that kind of moment, that sort of intimacy with everything, and just being able to be a theater geek and just in love with a random play. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I was able to really bring myself in a loving way to something. And also I love the producers and
Yeah, I have a hard. I've gotten to play some bucket list roles here, so I have a hard time. I've been so fortunate.
Bucket list. You said bucket list. Oh,
oh.
No, I heard something else. Not safe
I
for
think
TV.
I could rattle off all of them, but
Please do.
the producers was amazing. Little Shop was incredible. I have to say, because it was a different flavor that I don't get to do a lot. Last year, Silent Sky was it was something that a muscle I hadn't been asked to use up here.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Which was a joy. And this experience, I'm having so much fun with Doug in the room, and it's just so fun to play with Doug and to be able to say, hey, try this, and he does it and it works, or we can be honest with each other.
Say,
no, I was wrong. That was a horrible idea. Do what you were doing. We're having a ball, so hopefully the people watching will. I think that's all we can rely on. If we're having fun, I think they'll have fun.
Yeah.
And there's one more show after this. Are either of you involved in Baskerville at all?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
If you stick around long enough, you never know.
Yeah. But as an outsider, are you looking forward to Baskerville?
I will get to see their designer run while
Okay.
so I won't get to see the show.
Yeah, I'm going to try to come back and see it. I would love to see it, but yes, I'm excited for everyone who gets to see it. I
Yes.
hope I
Yes.
can be back to see it.
Yeah, please go see it.
It's a great
gonna be great.
cast. It's a
Yep.
great cast, so I
Yeah,
don't think
'cause
they can
it's
fail.
a comedic version
Yep.
of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I've
So,
heard wonderful things about the play, and it's a great cast, great director.
Including one first timer, Gil Brady, who we're both
Yep.
both good friends
He'll
with.
be
I'm
good.
very
He'll
excited
be
about it
fantastic.
coming up.
So where can people get tickets?
Why, you can call the Barnstormers box office, the Barnstormers box office, bing, at 603-323-8500. Please let that be correct. Or Barnstormers Theatre with an RE.org. And it runs August 10th through the 19th.
And that is daily except Mondays, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
There are matinees on
2 on Saturday.
Two
on
on
Saturday,
Saturday. Yeah. Okay.
And
so-
5 o'clock on Sundays.
Okay. And most days it's 7:30.
correct.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So see this man play multiple men and women.
Oh, boy.
So check that out.